Elon wilding out against the proposed billionaire tax. Yeah, in one day, Elon Musk made $37 billion and slammed Democrats' plan to tax billionaires. Here's what he meant when he said the government will come for you. So I love this. I love this story. I want to start off with this story. It ties back to the fucking, billionaire investors and their like criticisms of the billionaire tax. And the reason why I want to start off with this story is because, well, one, Elon Musk basically runs, for all intents and purposes, a Ponzi scheme that is completely backed by government subsidies. Like, ultimately, there's a product there. It's a car, it's a brand, it's a lifestyle, whatever the fuck you want to say. But Elon Musk and the company Tesla would literally not exist if there were no government subsidies. Okay, if there were no EV credits, if there was no way that the government was subsidizing his business. There were many times when the business would almost completely went bankrupt. So for him to turn around and to shit on like the government makes it fucking hilarious. Like, without taxes, the government coffers would not fill up, so that the government coffers could not be appropriated to fill Elon Musk's or to at least pay for Elon Musk's company. So Elon Musk railed against Democrats' billionaires tax proposal, but it would still leave him as the world's richest person. Musk warned the government could come for you when it runs out of cash, but the U.S. has spent more than it taxes for decades. The new tax would still allow Musk to keep $28 billion from his $37 billion surge in wealth this Monday as Tesla's market cap exploded. Now, why did Tesla's market cap explode? Because another company that almost went bankrupt last year took advantage of a situation where there was no used cars available that was like relatively affordable and an asset bubble, and literally sold off a lot of their fucking cars and turned it around. Like, it's very difficult to purchase new vehicles right now. The price for new cars has skyrocketed because of the chip shortage. Hertz was able to turn that shit around, going from bankrupt to having a lot of cash but no cars. They decided to turn around and purchase 100,000 or put an order for 100,000 Teslas after selling their entirety of their used car stock. So that fucking made Tesla's market cap explode. Okay, Elon Musk, though, while also generating $35 billion, like adding $35 billion into his wealth as a consequence of his stocks in Tesla. Hertz says they're going to buy 100,000 electric vehicles from Tesla. They literally filed for bankruptcy last year because of COVID, and then turned around and turned around and sold all their cars when no one could purchase cars. And because now they don't have any fucking cars, they were like, we're going to buy a Tesla fleet of 100,000 Teslas. Doesn't even fucking matter if they buy it. It's over. You know what I mean? And by the way, I just got to point out that, normal market, normal economy is just, all of it is normal and good. And there's no better representation of how normal and good and great this is than a company on the verge of bankruptcy, a company that filed bankruptcy, literally selling all of their fucking vehicles and then putting on a note that they're going to purchase like 100,000 EVs, absolutely exploding the market cap of another company. Of course, Elon Musk's entire empire is fueled by nearly $5 billion in government subsidies. The government has bailed him out in many different occasions when he literally didn't even have a fucking car that was readily available, when he was telling people that he was going to build cars for them and never actually did. That's not even the weirdest part. None of the things that I explained to you are the weirdest part of this conversation. The weirdest part of this conversation is that Elon Musk grew $35 billion richer. $35 billion richer in one fucking day. Who contributed the most to humanity, you or Elon Musk? And of course, there are the pathetic Elon Musk simps in here who act like Elon Musk is doing all this out of the kindness of his heart, dude. Yeah, it's so sick. Suck his dick harder, dude. You're doing a great job. He deserves it, though. Hard work pays off. Yeah, he's a fucking really hard-working con man. Like, he is the best. Los Angeles entrepreneur Elon Musk built this multi-billion-dollar fortune running companies that make electric cars, sell solar panels, and launch rockets into space. He definitely goes where there is government money, said Dan Dolev, an analyst at Jefferies Equity Research. It's a great strategy, but the government will cut you off one day. But it's also fucking additionally hilarious that Elon Musk, a person who is like one of the single biggest beneficiaries of government subsidies, is turning around and talking about the government misappropriating funds and like misallocating resources and then running out of money. It's like, motherfucker, if the government doesn't tax people, you're not going to have a business. You know that, right? And also, the irony, of course, is that like the Tesla stock, much like many of the other companies that operate within the stock market, have fundamentals, right, attached to it, because it is a fucking company that has output, that has revenue, that has growth, revenue growth and whatnot. But the reason why their market cap is the way it is not because of their fucking output. If you think that that is the reality, you are a silly bitch. I don't know what else to fucking tell you. It is straight up a consequence of the speculation surrounding where Tesla will go, because it's like not just a car company, but it's actually a tech company, and it's also a lifestyle brand led by a man who is constantly in the fucking media and performs in a way that I guess appeals to a lot of fucking normies. It's both. It pumped up because the order legitimizes their output. Yeah, dude. The order definitely legitimizes their output. When you buy 100,000, when you put an order for 100,000 vehicles, your company should be worth $1 trillion. That's like normal. That's a normal fucking, there's no like 100x factor there. That's why Volkswagen is worth $7 trillion. I don't know if you knew that or not. You know, other car manufacturers that sell a fuckload more cars, for example, that's the reason why they're, you know, worth more than Tesla. Tesla market cap is about 10% overall. The other major car manufacturers combined honestly isn't crazy and is more about the internal combustion engine versus EV. Yeah. Well, famously, other car manufacturers don't make, you know, EV. Yeah. It's purely based off of speculation. Okay. That's what it is. Like Elon Musk does not have a single business that operates outside of government subsidies, SpaceX being yet another one. What do you think the platform that SpaceX is on is? It's JPL. It's a collaborative project with JPL. It's a public-private partnership. That's all this is. Same with fucking Tesla. Would not exist without EV credits, would not exist without fucking government subsidies. The only thing he's done without government subsidies, I guess, and even then you have the PPP, but it would probably be like the fucking Boring Company, where he's made like a fucking leaf flamethrower and hats and shit. Oh wait, the Boring Company is supposed to be making infrastructure. There you go. Wow, how strange that like every single thing that Elon Musk does literally is just privatizing government contracts, like a private company that exclusively relies on government contracts. That's so strange, dude. What a fucking strange thing. Infrastructure that's locked to Teslas, by the way. Yeah, exactly. Infrastructure that's dog shit in general, too. For a guy who fucking sure loves milking taxpayers, he seems to be very upset about the very prospect of having to pay a little bit more. Elon Musk's money is not yours. You have no inherent right to it. Exactly. It belongs to the fucking workers who made the generated the profits for him. Their labor means nothing without the risk Elon took. Oh my God. Correct. And the market has determined their pay. And if they don't feel like they're making a correct wage, how about the market determine Elon's pay a little bit more then? Okay. Without like, yeah, CEOs deserve that money and workers don't deserve it because the market. Actually, NASA would have never been able to make the Falcon 9. It wouldn't have even been approved. We went from the shuttle. NASA famously never, achieved something that literally no other fucking country or no other like scientific achievement has come near. Famously, they didn't do that. So I'm glad SpaceX is doing it, dude. I mean, currently, the only reason why we couldn't go to the ISS without Russian help is literally because there was just no interest there and there was no funding to do that. Not because NASA doesn't know how to do that and Elon Musk single-handedly built rockets to be able to go there. This is, of course, without recognizing that, like, SpaceX directly hires from NASA. SpaceX circumnavigates the red tape that NASA would normally use because they are far more safety-oriented for even prototypes. Yeah. There's a lot of red tape at NASA. Yeah, that's not a bad thing. Motherfuckers that think Elon Musk invented the electric vehicle are also the same people that think like his schematics that he built personally, that he designed personally, are the reason why America went to the fucking moon. You know what I mean? Okay, it's so cool that SpaceX was able to go to the moon in 1969. Yeah, exactly. We watched the SpaceX rocket blow up live. I mean, yeah, after it landed. But anyway, that stuff happens. Like, I'm not anti-innovation. I just want to fucking specify this. I just hate that, like, people don't want to do what's right and people don't want to fucking like, motherfucker, you pay like a fraction of your fucking revenue earnings and like a fraction of your fucking wealth that you have accrued over the course of a single fucking year in taxes. Like, why can't you pay as much as like a dude who works at Walmart? Can we just do that? Because a dude who works at Walmart, I mean, not even that. You're never going to pay as much as a dude who works at Walmart, because a dude who works at fucking Walmart is going to have no money by the end of the year because like their income is getting taxed, and then, you know, they're fucking and the rest of it is like like the budget shortfall that's like built into the existence of the working poor. It's wild that like we can't even get motherfuckers like this to pay as much as even someone like myself. You know that Elon makes no money from his company, excluding stocks. He just don't pay his workers well. Also, Elon is the hardest working billionaire of this year from all the other monopoly holders. That's the standard that we're working with. Like, not fucking comparing Elon to like the average worker, but instead we're comparing Elon's hard work to other billionaires, like how much they're working. I'm not saying he doesn't fucking work nonstop, brother. I don't know how much he does, but it doesn't matter. Elon Musk and ultra rich people do not make their money off their fucking salaries, okay? That's why I talk about this all the time, and people get fucking mad at me whenever I talk about like taxing the wealthy more. I don't have a problem with like paying even a larger share of like however much money I make and the top marginal tax rate. But ultimately, you're not tackling the fucking problem. They should just call that taxing like celebrities and athletes and influencers bill. The top marginal tax rate only impacts people like that. It doesn't impact the ultra wealthy that park all of their fucking wealth in the stock market and then just like they have endless infinite leverage. So they just take out infinite lines of credit in perpetuity. You know what I mean? You're not doing anything there. You're not like actually addressing the problem. There's so much unrealized gains and unrealized wealth that is just like technically sitting in the stock market that should be, you know, used in a way to generate more revenue for the government so that the government can fucking help people and like, you know, do healthcare and shit. Here's Ryan Grimm explaining that thoroughly.
The answer turns out to be quite simple, and it leads the way to a three-step investment strategy that has become standard among the billionaire class called buy, borrow, die. Now, to understand the strategy, let's use Elon Musk as a case study, though really we could use any billionaire. ProPublica reported in June that the Tesla and SpaceX founder paid no federal income taxes in 2018. How? Well, Musk has largely gotten stock and stock options as his compensation throughout his career, and he has been able to treat those stock certificates much like a worker treats a paycheck. He takes it to a bank and, for a tiny fee, converts it into cash. That's it. That's the scheme. Musk has taken at least $57 billion worth of stock to the bank, exchanging it for cash he can then spend or invest. Yet the tax code manages not to treat that development as income. And because Musk is the type of client who can bring big business to a bank, think IPO, a merger, etc., he's the kind of VIP the bank is happy to give a giant loan to at extremely low rates. He no doubt pays a much lower rate than workers cashing checks without a bank account. In fact, some 14 million adult Americans have no bank account. The billionaire tax, on the other hand, would hit roughly 700 people.
This is like, not only is the American system already infinitely more favorable to those who are high earners as it pertains to like how much of your net worth or how much of your income that you pay in taxes. On top of that, these motherfuckers are like, yeah, we have a different method here. Like, we have an entirely separate method of not paying taxes at all. And to the people who say things like, well, what the fuck? What are you going to force them to liquidate some of their assets in an effort to pay taxes? That's unheard of. That's crazy. It's like, yeah, if you can't pay the taxes on some of your fucking wealth that you have accrued over the past year, then yeah, you're going to liquidate some of your fucking assets. You should be like, the government should do that. That's like how it works. It's insane to me that like this is something that is like seen as like impossible. Everyone else does it. The fuck do you mean? Literally everyone else does that except for fucking the mega wealthy. If you are middle class, if you are poor, and the IRS is enforcing that on you, that's what you gotta do, bitch. That's what you gotta fucking do. But when it's Elon Musk, it's like, whoa, 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 chill out. Not only that, but also what I cannot comprehend is when people say things like, well, how would we figure this out? Well, bitch, how do we fucking figure out property taxes? It works in the exact same way. Someone comes in, says your house is valued at this, and you pay a fucking you pay a percentage of that in your taxes that you pay. Get a fucking team of quants and people who do this, mathematicians, to fucking analyze your stock portfolio and the worth of your stock portfolio and take a percentage of that. People who say like, how are you going to tax wealth? How are you going to tax wealth? How are you going to tax wealth? How are you going to tax assets? Okay, dog, we already do that. We already do that for houses. The fuck do you mean? And David Dayan pointed this out, and I fucking love that. I mean, this is a wonderful take from David, friend of the show. at Prospect. Like, we only have this conversation when it comes down to taxing the fucking mega wealthy. Taxes that disproportionately fall on the poor, the sales tax, for example, which is regressive, okay, or a VAT, which would be regressive, are imposed all the time. And never once do you see on cable news, up next, this janitor explains why the sales tax punishes his success. And of course, the second side of this argument, the second point he's making here, is the reason why we also don't see that in the fucking news, because the news doesn't talk about that. And that's precisely why we don't hear about that. No, it's not because the news doesn't care about poor people. It's because the news is created so that, like, we literally are only hyper-focusing on taxing the poor and never hyper-focusing on taxing the rich. Why do people defend Elon and the mega wealthy so much? Does it really come to the delusion that they could one day accumulate the same amount of wealth through the same loopholes? Yes, that's it. It's the false notion that this is a meritocracy and that there is an American dream that you can somehow realize. Like, no, that's not. It's not real. It's not. It's not fucking real. Yeah, stocks get taxed differently if you hold it for a year plus as well. Capital gains tax is taxed differently if you're super wealthy and parked all your fucking wealth in assets in perpetuity, and it just keeps growing alongside the American government-backed stock market. You can't do that if you don't have a lot of wealth, though, obviously. No, it's not law. No one thinks they will be a billionaire. They just apply this fake billionaire think tank logic to our crumbs and freak out about it. I mean, that's a separate side of the conversation. But they think that they will always become like a small business owner and at least like a millionaire, right? And they think that this will harm them too, because everyone, especially on the reactionary side, but even on the fucking Democrat side too, unironically make it seem like the estate tax, for example, is going to impact you as an average American citizen. It's like, motherfucker, you do not have $5 million in assets. What the fuck are you talking about, dude? We're not even having a conversation about like whether it's appropriate or right to give away all of those fucking assets, but like it's the greatest conversation of all time for like a dumb, stupid, fucking idiotic, like small business owner to fucking engage it. Bitch, you think you're gonna fucking be hit with that? You're not. You're gonna fucking die, and the government's not gonna take shit from you because you have nothing in comparison to the actual 15,000 individuals. If you sim for Elon, you need to show the deeds to your factory. Yeah, I mean, I always say that, dude. If you're a fucking capitalist, if you're a hyper capitalist defending billionaires and shit, I want to see the deed to the factory. Imagine being a socialist and yet you own an iPhone. Might not work, but hey. Imagine being a capitalist and not owning capital. Omega lol, dude. You're doing that shit for free? Nice. Good for you, brother. The billionaires of the new aristocracy are our landed overlords, creating a new feudalistic society for us to experience time cyclically again. I disagree. I don't even think they're fucking feudal lords. I think they're demigods. I think that billionaires under a capitalist organization of the economy are no different than monarchs. They're literally fucking monarchs. And instead of God appointing you to that seat of power, okay, you are literally a king. If you're a billionaire, you're a king. You have more power and more wealth and more influence than a fucking king because you have reach. Kings in the past did not have that same level of reach. Well, not literally, but yeah, no, literally. Straight the fuck up. What I mean by that is this. In theocratic monarchies of the old days that we look back to now and fucking scoff at and be like, how stupid were the people that they thought this was great? Those motherfuckers were in that seat of power because God appointed them to that position, right? And when in fact it was, you know, probability, positioning, being an early adopter, I guess, being like coming from descendants of like whoever was like the largest fucking hog in that area, being the first to fucking engage in enclosures, okay, at a time when like you know, there was primitive communism, and then they were like, nah, actually this land is literally mine. Doing the most incest, like all of these different factors that play into someone becoming a monarch. But like people thought and the way that people received it was like, well, God told this guy to be the king. Okay, that was their justification for the average peasant, was like, well, God is giving this guy his power. He has godlike powers, and his son and his children will have godlike powers. Now, under a capitalist organization of the economy, in Western democracies especially, that has been substituted from God-given powers, even though it is still literally fucking probability, positioning, and the same key factors, and your relation to the means of production and intergenerational wealth. That is afforded to you. The justification in the eyes of the peasant class, the fucking workers, is meritocracy. If you were in the 14th century, you thought God gave king the power to be the divine ruler. If you're living in 2021, you think, oh, meritocracy, he deserves to be there. He worked really fucking hard and really smart. That's it. Oh, yeah, dude. Speaking of government dollars, so David Dayen is going through the entire Build Back Better package because he's a psycho. This section appropriates $3 billion to the Secretary of Energy for the cost of providing direct loans under Energy Independence and Security Act 136, known as the Advanced Technology Vehicles Manufacturing Program, to produce advanced technology, medium and heavy-duty vehicles, trains, or locomotives, marvelous locos, maritime vessels, aircraft, or Hyperloop technology. This section also removes the cap on the amount of direct loans the secretary can issue under this program. So Elon and his fucking shitty ass like Tesla coded tunnel system is getting his breadcrumbs overall. But even then, even when it's like a little bit of a itty bitty breadcrumbs, even then he's out there still fucking caking it. What I find really funny is that Elon Musk, in our completely broken stock market, with his overvalued fucking Tesla stock, was able to put $35 billion under his name over the course of 24 fucking hours. Because everything is broken. Because Hertz, the company that was like literally on the verge of bankruptcy because of COVID, sold all their cars, and then they were like, we're buying 100,000 Teslas. Elon Musk did what everyone would do when they made $35 billion in one day. A record, by the way. He took to Twitter to cry about the billionaire tax that was never going to fucking pass to begin with. He spent the entire day shitposting about billionaires and how, when they tax the billionaires, one day they'll tax you too. It's like, motherfucker, you're literally talking about a billionaire tax that impacts 700 people. On the day that you made $35 billion, you spent the entire day fucking posting. But of course, the funniest part about this entire conversation is the fact that Elon's business would be non-existent if it wasn't for government subsidies that has kept it afloat. The entire business, and I know he loves talking about how like it was actually Daimler that gave me a big loan and we paid it back. You're wrong about that. It's like, no, it's not just that. You got nearly $5 billion worth of subsidies, and your business would be fucking nothing without EV credits and also fucking carbon voucher shit that he's selling to all the other big corporate car manufacturers. And not only that, your other business literally is SpaceX, which is a privatized business that previously was completely controlled by NASA. It relies heavily on government funding and government subsidies. All of his businesses literally are kept afloat by government subsidies. Now, I don't have a fucking problem with good businesses that actually deserve government subsidies. I don't have a problem with it as long as the government has like some fucking control over it. You know, unionize your workforce, Elon. What the fuck? The frustrating part about this is that like his business would not be around if it wasn't for the fucking government keeping it afloat. And yet he's like, the government spending is very bad. Fuck you, you bitch. You fucking big rich bitch. Fuck you. Seriously. This motherfucker is getting money just to build a goddamn tunnel, dude. A unique concept no one has ever heard of. It's called a tunnel, and only it'll be like a 2-lane tunnel, and we'll have Teslas on the track. Okay, it'll be sick. It's like, no, it won't, dude. Come on, it'll look cool. We'll put bisexual lighting on it. Elon Musk, when he gets asked to pay his fair share of taxes. Yeah, Elon finding out about the billionaire tax after making $1.45 billion an hour, dude. And all these fucking weirdo nerds are like, no, he's my favorite soy face scammer. Soy face, Elon Musk, to the moon, Shiba Inu. 700 people were going to be taxed. And because of how fucked up wealth disparity is in this country, they were going to be taxed at like 20%, right? 20% of their like overall, like it was going to look like a 20% real tax rate, right? Which, by the way, he currently pays 3.3%. That tax rate, that real tax rate for 700 people would have been able to fund like more than $350 billion. No, actually the top 10, not even everyone else, just the top 10 would have created what, like $350 billion in revenue, dude? That's fucking insane. And dumbasses were in my fucking replies when I was making fun of Elon Musk being like, well, actually, this sets a really dangerous precedent for taxing unrealized gains. What the fuck? Like, dude, are you fucking insane? It's 700 people. Do you think you're ever gonna get there? You fucking psycho, you sick freak. You think you're gonna be in the top 700 wealthiest individuals in America? No, you are infinitely closer to homelessness than you are Your unrealized gains are nothing, dumbass. You're already getting paid for the crumbs that you have in the fucking stock market if you trade, okay? Because you're fucking working poor. When you're working poor, the capital gains tax is already enough. If it's not enough, but you know what I mean? Like, that's already taxing you effectively. Why? Because you have to take your money out because you're fucking poor. You have to literally liquidate your assets regularly. If you're rich, on the other hand, well, then your entire fucking net worth is tied to the company that you're the CEO of or on the board of or own a fuckload of shares on that you can sit on for the rest of your life, really. It's so stupid that, like, there were so many bootlicking cooks that were just like, if they tax the first 700 wealth, maybe they'll tax my 401k. It's like, dude, it's literally written into the law that they're not touching any of that shit. People who want to pay more tax than billionaires are cucked. Yeah, literally. Like, if you're a regular citizen, okay, if you're like a regular worker, your true tax rate, your effective true tax rate at the end of the fucking year is like 50% at the very least on the minimum, maybe even higher, because you have so much of a budget shortfall built into your fucking life that, like, you have no money at the end of the year. You're done. And then you have small business owners, okay, especially small business owners that have like a legitimately small business, and they're not fucking super caked up either, but at least they have like deductions and whatnot. So they start getting some tax breaks. The higher you go up that wealth scale, the more freedoms you have to not pay taxes. It is the most regressive bullshit on the fucking planet. And if you're not a fucking billionaire currently and you're defending taxing billionaires more, you are literally the biggest dumbass on the fucking planet, okay? And you're such a dumbass that you are never gonna fucking be a billionaire anyway. Like, you're just not. You're too dumb to not even recognize your own personal benefit. I'm sorry. It's like those fucking weirdos who endlessly pontificate about an Ancapistan society at which they think they will be the factory owner and like oppress everyone else and have the biggest military. It's like, no, dude, you know who's gonna fuck you, dude? Me. Okay? You don't want that. You don't fucking want that smoke. It's like, dude, you literally, like, you're not. Like, I'm sorry. I'm gonna rip the Band-Aid off, brother. You are not going to be a billionaire. You are not going to be the fucking factory owner in Ancapistan. You are going to be a slave. You and your family are going to be enslaved by the McDonald's Corporation. Let me just like rip that Band-Aid off real quick. So try to get some fucking government help while you can. Because billionaires, they never fucking say no to government handouts. As a matter of fact, if government doesn't give them enough handouts, they fucking scream at the government and they change the laws.